What's up, y'all? It's Annabelle with That Good Shit, and I am here with...
Quadry.
Hey, Quadry, how you doing today?
Good, I'm doing fine.
Amazing. We're out here at Herbert von King Park, one of my favorite parks in Brooklyn, out here in Bed-Stuy. We were just talking about our favorite neighborhoods in Brooklyn. What are your top few favorite spots in Brooklyn?
All right, I'm gonna do a top three. I'm gonna do Brownsville, Flatbush, and Williamsburg.
Okay.
Those are my top three.
Okay. Why are they in your top three?
All right. Brownsville, I just feel like that's the quintessential New York experience. Like, just the troops stop was right there when we stayed. It was just, everything was really close. Food was right there, so it just gave, like, New York. Flatbush, I feel like that's where a lot of my favorite rappers are from, like Pro Era, and, I don't think Biggie's from Flatbush. He's from Bed-Stuy, but it's Borders. They, like, they had a lot of Biggie stuff, so. And Williamsburg, I don't know, it just feels like vibey. It's like, it feels like Bourbon Street, how like Bourbon Street kind of feels. But I don't know, good nightlife. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, good nightlife. Williamsburg has that strip on the water that's really nice. You can see the city.
I haven't been there. I have not been there, but yeah, like but it was the same thing. It was like a strip. It's like they had streamers going across from like the buildings. I'm like, okay, this is a festive type of place.
Yeah, Williamsburg is a nice little vibe. What are you going to be up to while you're out here in New York? Because you're out here right after the release of your new album. We're doing a bunch of fun promo stuff. We're spreading the word about the album. What else is in store for this trip to New York?
I'm doing a release event. Probably by the time this comes out, it would have been done. But yeah, I'm doing a release event, trying to squeeze sessions inside of there, link with everybody that I know in New York. Yeah, it's a full docket.
I have so many fun memories from New York. Like we were just talking about that show we did at Chelsea Music Hall in 2022, like a long ass time ago with Overcast. Tell us a little bit about that show and what that was like for you.
It was fun actually, cause like me and I did shrooms after I performed, so it's like I always have a fun memory of that show. But yeah, I got to meet Marco Plus, I got to see Jamonte. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Yeah, got to watch Overcast. Oh yeah, and Riley was there too. That's how you pronounce it? Yeah. So it was a lot of good performers, and just remembering that show is I remember whoa, there's a lot of talent, just kind of bubbling right under the surface. So
yeah, it's been really cool watching everyone who was on that show growing over the past few years, and I feel like what's been really cool about watching your growth is you've been part of this really fire scene of rising rap artists creating their own lane, creating their own sounds. Tell me a little bit about that rap community that you've grown up with and what it's been like for everyone to kind of start bubbling the way they are.
It's really fun to watch because it's these are people who I actually listen to on, I guess off time, if you want to call it that. But yeah, these are people that I listen to and grown to meet and known and and just to see them do different things, try different things, and some things work out and some things don't work out how they thought it would, but it still leads to a destination that they can, pivot to. Yeah, it's, something beautiful to watch, just to, see people grow.
Yeah, it's a real beautiful thing to watch, and it's been cool watching you get so much community support all the way up until this point of the release of the new album. And yeah, you just put out a new album, A Magnolia, which is so incredible, and definitely want everyone watching this to go take a listen. Tell me a little bit about how it feels to have this album come out.
It feels good. I was working on it for 2 years. Oh, actually, you were in the studio when I made the second single, I'm Wrong. So yeah, just memories like that, pop into my mind, and just to have it be out and people can kind of feel the heart I put into it. Yeah, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a moment from the whole process of the past 2 years of making the album that is your favorite memory from the album coming together?
Maybe when we were making I'm Wrong.
Yeah.
That's probably the one, because it was so cool, because it was you were doing, just hustling, just doing your Annabelle thing, and I'm making this song, that's about to be on this album, and Nick was out there in the pool and all that, so it was just a nice vibe.
Was that one of the first songs you made off the album?
No, not really. I think the first song was Ghost of Brandywine, but that was that spring trip. I think I just made Ghost of Brandywine a couple weeks prior, so it was one of those early songs for sure.
Okay, and then what was the last song that you made on the album?
Seeking You Shall Find.
Okay.
Yeah, I made that December, right before I turned in the album.
What chapter of your life do you feel this album represents?
It represents kind of the ending of one, kind of this going into this new territory, just the closing of the one I just went through, the closing of the previous one, I guess.
I'd love to talk a little bit about the producers that you have on the album. You said there are about like 9 producers or so that worked on this project. One of my favorite ones is I heard that Black Odyssey track and I immediately was like, oh my god, like this song is so Black Odyssey coded. So I love seeing that. So yeah, tell me about him and all the other producers you worked with on the project.
Yeah, actually, like everybody I worked with, it was this kind of weird happenstance. Just for example, Black Odyssey, I pulled up to do a verse for Topaz Jones because he was on the EP I did prior. So, I pulled up to do the verse, not even knowing who was gonna be there. And then it's like, yo, Black Odyssey there, And I was watching the videos he did for Black Vintage. So, yeah, I was watching those videos and I was really impressed. So, like, when I met him, I was like, yo, what's up? Let's try to do some music. And to my surprise, he was receptive. So I was like, yo, okay. He sent me some beats and, we did that. And I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, you guys sounded really cool together. What's your favorite song by Black Odyssey?
Can I go grab my phone right quick?
Yes, you can.
I like Funkentology, Complex of Killing a Man, Drinking Good. That's on Black Vintage. On Diamonds and Free, I like Honeysuckle Neckbone, Miss Sweet Tea, Summer in the Rain. Pink Marmalade is dope too. And the one they just dropped, 1-800 Fantasy, I haven't had time to dive into them, but I like Stink Rose.
Yeah, Stink Rose is fire.
Yeah.
The new album from him is really cool. He has like a really cool shift in his sound. Tell me about like how you feel like your sound has evolved from your past work to this new album.
It's just gotten a little bit more expansive because before I felt I was really into just a good loop, just a good sample chop. And over the years, I've found a way to incorporate that, but have those things tell a story, through beat switches, through things I'm doing with my delivery, rapping from different perspectives. So, I think that's a thing that's been evolved over time.
Definitely. What do you think is the biggest lesson you learned in the process of making A Magnolia?
Trusting myself. That's the main thing I learned. That's the main thing I learned. That's the big one that stands out. I can't even really think of another one that's just as important.
Yeah. Are there any like specific moments on the album that came from like making a choice to trust yourself?
I would say with Grease Poppin', because on Grease Poppin', I'm doing this kind of impersonation of a girl, and it was like, at first instance, it's like, okay, do I want to make, do I want to make a song where I'm sounding like a girl? But it was like, nah, bro. It's telling a story. It's filling out the experience of what I'm trying to explain. So
yeah. Grease Poppin' is my favorite song from the album.
Right. Archibald Slim made that, who's a part of Offer Records, who I'm big fans of. So it's like everybody who produced on the album, I'm a big fan, like Overcast, Latrell James, Teo Hum. So that's really what it was.
Definitely. With Grease Poppin' and with all the other songs on the album, honestly, like, I feel like a big strength on there is storytelling. Like, you do a really great job of, like, painting a picture of every story that you're telling. Tell me about how you approach, like, storytelling within your writing and what that process is like.
I watch a lot of HBO series and a lot of, like The Wire and just a lot of good television and movies. And I'm very interested in, man, look at this truck go by.
Big, loud ass truck.
Big wild man. For no reason, because it's not like it's king or something important. But I like good film and the way film can be used to express emotion and how film works. Like, it could be a flashback, it can be a foreshadowing, it could be somebody just having a conversation on the street, dialogue. So that's the main thing I feel.
Are there any artists that you look to that have inspired the way that you storytell?
Nas, Scarface. Slick Rick is kind of the, the icon when it comes to like storytelling and rap, but I feel his progeny or like my biggest influences, like the Nas's, the Ghostface Killers, the Andre 3000, and even people who do it kind of in an abstract way, like a Nirvana sometimes, the way Kurt Cobain kind of uses words, just like his song Dumb. The way he kind of uses the lyrics to explain his like inner emotions and creates that like narrative, just like in a movie where like the main character is walking and thinking to himself.
Is there any specific songs or artists that you were listening to a lot during the creation of the album?
I was listening to a lot of Salt. Do you know Salt?
Salt, yes.
Yes, I love Salt. Yaya Bay. I was listening to a lot of Yaya Bay. Kia. Live, Girl and a Half Pearl album. I listened to a lot of that.
Love that album.
Only Built for Cuban Links by Raekwon. That's one of the albums that I really took a lot of inspiration from to, not telling a story in a linear way. It's okay not to tell a narrative from start to finish. It can start in the middle and it works its way to the beginning and circles back to the end. Oh, Dungeon Family. It's this album I was listening to a lot, Brainchild by Society of Soul. That's
Okay,
the last
nice.
one.
You were talking a little bit about how you're watching HBO series, and earlier you were telling me that you're like big into movies and films. So I'd love to know what some of your favorite movies are, and if you have any recs for me, because I'm like not huge into movies. So like, if you could recommend me a couple movies that you think I would like, what would you recommend?
Have you ever heard of Kids?
Kids?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
it's this movie set in New York. It's like it was shot in 1995. I think you would really like Kids. It's kind of harsh, you know, so I'm a, you know, trigger warning type shit. But it's a really good time capsule about like how New York was and what it can be, and just the hopes of the kids like running around like they, you know, like they wanted to be something. You know, they just didn't want to, you know, just spend their life, you know, smoking weed in the park. So yeah, The Wire, that's one of my all-time favorite like series. The Wire and The Sopranos, there's a lot of debate which one is better, but me personally, I like The Wire. I've just been getting into The Sopranos as well. I like their characters, so you know, further update on that when we do the next interview. I'll talk more about that.
Okay.
Oh damn! See, look, see,
What's
yeah, Josh Simmons popped in.
up?
Yeah, come on, what's up? See, hey, what's up? Josh Simmons just popped in.
Hi, good to see you.
Shit, yeah, man. Give me a couple more times, you know, think about this movie shit. It's this movie I saw on Tubi, actually, you know, because I got Tubi recently. Shout out Tubi, it's free. It's called Chapatulas. It's like this documentary where it's like these kids from New Orleans, they're from like the other part of the river, and they get stranded in like the French Quarter for the night. So it's like, just imagine these nine-year-old kids just wandering the French Quarter, like, you know, like until the next boat comes, which is like 6 a.m, and you know they're kind of seeing all these things. This kind of tying back in with the album, kind of just that, I don't want to say like a loss of innocence, but just getting in situations where you're thrown into them is like being thrown in a pool and you can't swim.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to like figure out your environment and figure out, you know, the best way to get through that.
Well, I was going to ask you, and I'm sure this could be one of them, but are there any other films that you feel like tie in really well to like the themes of the album?
Tying really well. I mean, The Boondocks for sure. I guess that's one that's a series, but let's try to figure out some movies. Hold on. Blaxploitation movies. Oh, P.D. Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law. That's probably one of the ones where it's like that kind of influenced Grease Poppin', where it's like I'm trying to take these characters and kind of make a situation seem funny, but it's kind of like serious. So that I really like Belly with Nas, just kind of making something that feels good aesthetically, and with the album, I tried to just make good songs flat out.
Yeah.
You know, the lyrics are there, like, you know, like the storytelling is there, but just on the surface, just when you hear the songs, like they're good, and you know, they sound good to the ear. So that
across the album, there's a lot of really fun like samples that you get into with the production. Obviously, I think like one of everyone's favorite moments was that like Mad Lib, What a Day, Tyler the Creator sample. Tell me about how that got brought into the mix for that song.
Latrell James actually sent me that beat, and of course I'm familiar with Mad Lib, and I think I made that song before Tyler put that song out. So that's not what I was going for when I heard it. But when I heard it, I was like, yo, this the perfect, it encapsulates the feeling I'm talking about on the song. Just kind of the breaking away of friendship, and just, you know, and it sounds like Baton Rouge also where I'm from. So, you know, it was just a perfect intersection of like feelings and place.
Oh my gosh, let's talk a little bit about Baton Rouge, where you're from. Yeah, you're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tell me about like the significance of that place to you, how it's inspired your music. Tell me all about Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so it's a capital city. It sits right along the Mississippi River, so it's like a big hub for like oil and shit. It's Exxon plants all over the place. Yeah, that's where I grew up. I've been living there since I was 3 years old. My mom had me in like this hospital in Hammond, Louisiana, which is another town not too far, like probably like an hour away. But yeah, we moved there. She met my stepdad, and yeah, we've been living. Yeah, that's all I know. Like that's home to me. It's really hot. The food is good if you can find. You know, if you have friends from Baton Rouge, 9 times out of 10, their family can cook very well. So that, and yeah, like the music that comes from there is very honest, very very raw. You know, the names, you know, Lil Boosie, Webby, Kevin Gates, Young Boy. For a city to be like 225,000 population, the rappers that come out and just the amount, it far outweighs the population. Like I think Seattle has 2 million people, or like
some crazy amount.
Yeah, like it's a million. And I mean, geography matters because we're between Texas, New Orleans, Atlanta. So the region that's been the most innovative in hip hop for the past 15 years, we sit smack dab in the middle of it. So
Right.
not to say that these other regions are not just as talented, but I just named one, probably the biggest rapper right now, numbers and metrics wise, young boy, Kevin Gates, this cult figure, fuck.
Literally.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Just Kevin Gates, Lil Boosie, who's sometimes problematic, but still this, I liken him to like a blues artist, like Muddy Waters, like every rock star, fuck, you see what I'm saying? So he's
Yeah.
that kind of figure, problematic at times, but still, that figure. And just for a city to be that relevant in a genre that, this is where New York started. This, hip hop, this is where it started. And for us to be a place where we kind of carry that tradition on,
Yeah.
it's really satisfying to me, because it's like the same tenets that govern what makes great hip hop, the bare basics. What story are you telling? Are you interesting? Are you telling the truth? That's Baton Rouge hip hop to a T. We're checking all those boxes.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of hip hop across the board. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Who are some like newer rising artists out of Baton Rouge that people should be paying attention to?
I mean, them all. You know what Kai, Josh Simmons, Caleb Brown, Joe Scott. It's a whole scene, let me go on and name them. We got Tommy Rouge, we got Gyra. Eric the Young guy just put me on to somebody too. I talked to him yesterday. Do you know when somebody puts you on to somebody from your hometown and you don't know? Like, that's the weirdest feeling ever. He told me about this guy named Jamil X. So, yeah, it's a lot. I can go on for days.
So many incredibly talented people coming out of Baton Rouge. Like, I got so many great friends down there. It's great energy down there in general. Like, the people are just like mad friendly, and just like people from Baton Rouge are just like, they're good friends.
Yeah, exactly. The best friends, loyal to almost a fault. But, that's just how we are.
I'd love to ask a few questions just about like you as a music fan and a music listener. Firstly, I want to know, what's your favorite album that's came out this year?
Gems in a Corner with a Lou J and J-Rock.
Mm-hmm.
That shit hard. Doechii, I really like Doechii's album.
Mm-hmm.
Layla, Layla did drop some shit. That's my little niece.
Shout out to Miss Layla.
Yeah, shout out Miss Layla. And I've been listening to a lot of old shit. I've been listening to, bro, and you can see, like James, bro, like, I've been listening to a lot of old shit. Hold on. Did Skywater drop this year? Because I've been...
Skywater did drop this year.
Yeah, Gigi, did that drop this year? Okay, good. Yeah, that one. McGee, 2-star on the Dream Police. Bro, I'm saying shit everybody say. I'm so sorry, y'all. Bro, it's just with my album. You see, you know how it is. It's like I'm finishing my shit. I'm trying to roll it out. I really haven't had time to, it's like I download it and I think about it in my mind and I end up never listening to it.
Sometimes I gotta wait like weeks or a couple months before I listen to an album. It has to be the right time. I have to be like, you know what, now is the perfect time for me to sit down and listen to this album. What's the last playlist that you made?
Oh, for my release show, let's play this, like songs that inspired the album of A Magnolia.
Okay. What are some songs that are on that playlist?
Let's look. We got Public Service Announcement by Jay-Z. That's how I'm gonna start it. Pocket Full of Stones, Pimp C remix. Players Ball Reprise by Outkast. Money on My Mind by Lil Wayne. Ready or Not by the Fugees. Where I'm From by Raven Lenae.
Love.
Come on now.
That album's great too, the new Raven album.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna show you it's downloaded in my phone. I swear to God. Bro, I don't be playing. And Dahi worked on it, and Dahi's a close friend of mine. So yeah, I'm gonna for sure listen to that. Let me see what was on there. Shame on the Devil by Vince Staples. Hey Vince, man, take me on tour. The tour probably started, but hey,
Never too late.
Hey, we're never too late. you know, yeah, Beans by Solange. You Self Days, Black Classical Music. That's something I've been on heavy. Donuts by Isaiah Rashad. God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols.
Nice. So that's all songs that kind of like influence the sound that you went for in the album.
Yes, ma'am. Those are ones. Yeah, and like you can kind of see, it's a lot of hip hop, but it's a lot of different sides of hip hop. Ego Tripping by De La Soul on there too. Just kind of showing how vast the genre of hip hop is and the expressions.
Oh, and I definitely wanted to ask you about the cover art on Ask a Magnolia, specifically like having your face painted. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind all of that.
Have you ever seen Apocalypto? Oh, it's another movie that Apocalypto. So basically, this Amazon tribe in the forest, they get taken over by the Mayan Empire. It's like, it's some representative of like a bigger empire. So the character gets caught doing, hey, how you
Hi.
doing? So,
Okay.
oh no, it's fine. So, the main character gets caught by the big empire to get sacrificed. And then he gets away, and then he runs through the jungle, and then he kind of finds himself through this running jungle. But anyway, I was just fascinated by like tribal paint and like how can I make myself look, I don't want to say other than human, but just kind of extra out. So that evolved over weeks and months. And then late at night, I was watching, I just scrolling on YouTube, and this video pops up, lost, stolen, or strayed. Saw that, and I was like, yo, that's dope. And then my girlfriend does makeup, Jade, and we tried this lookout, like a couple times, and we finally got it right. And so I was like, yo, this is the perfect encapsulation of like the album, just like a mascot. Just like, how artists have eras. Tyler dressed a certain way in the Bastard era, they did in the Goblin era. In Malik Ruff, for me, that outfit is the 104 video, the Hawaiian shirt with the shorts. They Think We Ghetto is the Bulls jersey and the shorts that I had in Once Upon a Time in the Parking Lot video. And this album is the suit with the American flag face. All right. 3 singles. I need 2 more faces. And that's where you get the red face and the night sky face. Out of necessity. Purely out of necessity.
Very cool. Yeah, and, talking a little bit more about the visuals behind what you released for this album. Tell me a little bit more about, like, aside from the face paint, how else did you approach like building out the visual world for the album?
Tear Whack World, Topaz Jones, Don't Go Telling Your Mama. Those were big inspirations. Also, the Black Odyssey videos that I was telling you about, because they interlock if you remember. Just those 3 approaches to visual storytelling. I tried to take that and interpret it in my own way. Had videos that were humorous, had a little bit of satire, some symbolism in there.
And the last question I have for you, Quadry, is who is your favorite fictional character? And what would their favorite song on Ask a Magnolia be?
Riley from the Boondocks, that's my favorite. No, Huey. Damn, can I pick 2?
Yeah.
Riley and Huey. Huey's favorite song would be Seeking You Shall Find. Riley's favorite song would be Nigga You Crazy.
Well, Quadry, thank you so much. Again, it's been so cool to just watch you grow and get to this point of releasing this album, and it really is so special. The whole That Good Shit team, we're all like enormous fans of you and everything you do.
Y'all coming to the release party?
We'll be there.
Oh, yeah. I gotta pick like the drinks and stuff on the menu.
You're gonna do a little like custom cocktail menu?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. Exactly what I'm doing.
Quadry, is there anything else that the people should know about you?
I rap good. The best rapper alive. I'm very appreciative to Annabelle for taking the time out to interview me in her neighborhood park. Herbert Von King.
Hey, Herbert Von King.
Shout out to That Good Shit.
Hey, shout out to Quadry. Thank you so much.
We go.